Hey guys, it's Babs with Listen to Your Inner You. My website is listentoyourinneryou.com. You can book sessions on there. If there are times on there that don't work for you, you could always email me. My email is also on the website, and we can figure something out and help you. Today, I wanted to first off say I'm sorry for my face having a different color than my neck. I actually am not wearing makeup other than eyes and lips. And the computer, I'm filming this on my computer, so it keeps changing lighting depending on what light hits me. So I just have multiple colors on my body today, I guess. Fun things, right? See, it keeps changing. I look like I have a fake tan on my face and my neck is completely white. I don't know what's going on. I'll blame it on the retrograde. We are in retrograde, guys. If things are getting funky right now, we are in retrograde. And the retrograde tends to bring out our patterns and habits even more. So if you're more frustrated than usual, find out what's going on. What are you reflecting out? What are people reflecting back to you? And take advantage of it, because the retrograde is, although sometimes I don't know if I should freak out or be excited that it comes, it usually helps me a lot to work through what I'm working through or to show me what's going on. So other than that, I wanted to talk about third parties today. I recently heard from a client that there are coaches out there that say if you don't think about the third party, they will go away. I don't know, has it worked for you? Please leave a comment. It has not worked for me. And if it hasn't worked for you either, and then on top of that, I want to say it actually is pretty hard to not think about the third party when we have a lot of resistance or attachment towards our subject of manifestation, our person. So we tend to think about the third party even more. So how are we supposed to not think about it? So then you might end up forcing yourself to not think about it, and then you think about it more, because at that point you're just resisting it. So say, I accept that I think about the third party way too much. I accept that I hate thinking about the third party. I'm not okay with thinking about the third party. Just do all the acceptance steps, right? So don't resist it even more. Accept that the third party is there. Accept that you don't accept it. Accept that you hate it. Accept that you feel awful about it. You're not okay with it. It's okay that you're not okay with it. All these are acceptance steps. So that's really important. Do not ignore the third party, because ignoring anything will put you in a lot of resistance and will make you A, feel pretty bad, and B, can mess with the manifestation and will actually come up in the resistance part of step 3 of the steps that I teach. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a whole video about manifesting steps 1, 2, 3, 4. Please find it. Or if you know Amy, then you know what to do. So again, don't ignore anything. Don't ever ignore how you feel. Don't ever ignore what is going on in your 3D. Don't ever ignore what is not going on. And the same applies to a third party. When a third party is there, honestly, I've had a third party every single time I manifested someone. And it sucks. It sucks big ass balls. Or it sucks, whatever else you want to swear at. I like to swear. It fucking sucks. It just sucks, right? The first time around I was manifesting my SP back, there was a third party, and I actually got him back, and the third party at some point didn't matter anymore, because the more you work through steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 properly, the way I or Amy teach it, or if you have your own steps that work and you get results with them, that's fine, right? As long as you're doing the work right and you keep eliminating resistance and keep detaching, eventually you will stop thinking about the third party automatically. I have never been able to stop myself from thinking about the third party. The more I tried, the more I thought about it, because that's resistance. What you resist persists, Amy, right? It is so true. So admit that you're thinking about them. Let yourself think about them. Be frustrated about it. Let it all out. Accept it all. And keep working on the resistance, because every time you think about them, you're supposed to replace it with whatever came up in the resistance. So either the end result feeling or the opposite story that you dug up. Don't ask questions about how to do this process in this video. I will not answer them, because I have a million other videos about the steps and explaining them, right? So do the steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the manifesting steps video that I have posted a while ago, and go from there. It is on paper a very easy thing to do. And sometimes you have to train yourself to build that muscle of the end result feeling. That's okay. But keep working on the resistance and the attachment, and eventually you will automatically actually not pay attention to the 3D. The 3D at that point doesn't matter anymore because you've eliminated resistance and attachment, and it doesn't bother you anymore. At that point, you're like, oh, I already have the end result, and it actually feels true. And then nothing else matters, right? So that's where you want to get to, and you don't want to force yourself. You cannot force yourself to get there. It is impossible. I have tried to force it. I've tried to force everything. I've tried to force detaching. I've tried to force everything that you can imagine, and it doesn't work for me. If it works for you, please go ahead and keep doing it. It doesn't work for me. I'm telling you what works for me and my clients, right? So keep doing the steps 1, 2, 3, and 4 to work through the resistance, the focus work, and anything that comes up, and you're detaching. And then eventually you stop thinking about the third party, and they don't tend to actively exist in your mind anymore. They may still be there. I had someone comment on my live video that, oh, my best friend is dating my SP. How can I not ignore them? And we live together. I'm like, well, you don't have to ignore them. You just have to work through the steps to start eliminating resistance and start detaching properly. And eventually it doesn't bother you anymore. So they still are probably there, but they may not bother you anymore. When I manifested my ex-spec the first time, eventually it didn't matter anymore that he had a girlfriend. I didn't think about her ever again. I didn't realize that it mattered. It just didn't matter anymore. And it was a nice place to be. And then he showed up and he was still with her because I had crappy beliefs. So he overlapped us a little bit and that sucked, but he chose me over her while he was still with her. And that doesn't matter. I got him back, right? So, second time he breaks up and again, he finds someone else immediately, which made me feel like crap. So then I started working on my core beliefs because here is a reason why there is a third party popping up. There are reasons why they pop up. It could be your fears that you're concentrating on, you being in resistance and denial of things. You could have some beliefs that are in place, which is all resistance, right? Or you can have bigger resistance, like more significant, like a core belief. So for me, I kept being replaced immediately, which made me feel not worth it. So that's how eventually I found the most major core belief I've ever found in myself. I am worth it. And it just takes time to work through these beliefs. It does. If anyone is out there saying you can change a core belief or a major belief in 20 minutes, you know what? I haven't been able to do it. I've tried like 10 different techniques from different people, things, knowledge. It doesn't work for me. I haven't been able to change it. And you know what? I'm okay with it because these core beliefs come with a set of patterns and habits and things that you have to work through. So how the fuck are you going to work through all of this in 20 fucking minutes? Because you're going to have to work through so much trauma over a whole lifetime. You should take your time. You should want to take your time to let it all out and heal. This is a healing process. Working through core beliefs is a healing process. It shouldn't happen in 20 minutes. How could it happen in 20 minutes? I'm 38 years old. How the hell am I going to work through something that I've had in place for probably 35 years? How the hell am I going to work through it in 20 minutes? Anyway, back to the third party because I have enough belief videos and I still keep making them, right? But they're very helpful to you and they were helpful to me, so I keep sharing. Anyway, third party, there might be a reason why they're there. There might be none. There might be just slight resistance and they showed up. It might be fear or worries and your core beliefs might be okay and you just were concentrating on that on accident. Or it was a learning lesson in the path for it. Because when you start manifesting things, when you shift into the old energy, things do go the opposite direction to show you the ugly part of this belief or story or resistance or the opposite of that manifestation. It is part of it, right? So accept that the third party is there and keep working on clearing your resistance and detachment more and more, and you will eventually not be bothered by the third party anymore. That is the most important thing to know because it doesn't matter if there's a third party. If you keep thinking they're not going to choose you over the third party, then that's a belief in place. That could be I'm worth it or I'm not good enough or I'm good enough. I'm going to try to say the positive versions, and my kitty cat is in her play tunnel, so it's a little crinkly. Sorry. Not sorry. She's cute. She's adorable. Anyway, don't ignore the third party. Don't try to make them go away because that way you're putting more emphasis onto the third party. What you want to do is keep concentrating on the end result. The end result is you being with your SP in a committed, loving, monogamous, romantic, I don't know what you want to say, a relationship, right? That's going to be your desire, and then the end result, feelings. So keep working on resistance releasing and detaching, and eventually the third party doesn't bother you. I promise you this. This works. This process freaking works. That is how I got my ex back. It does work. So keep doing the work the way I teach you. And you will at least feel better at some point in time, and the third party doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. That's what it means to ignore the 3D, because eventually you don't ignore it. It just doesn't actively exist anymore. You don't pay attention to it anymore. That's really what it means. So all you're doing is keep doing the work, keep concentrating on the end result and clearing everything else out. And eventually the third party doesn't matter, because sometimes they're there for a reason, but the reason will come up. It will come up in the third step, in resistance. The third step is finding any resistance. So keep doing that and you will be okay. And either way, you will be okay. You don't need that person. You don't need the person to make you whole. You don't need the person to make you happy. You can do that on your own. You should be able to do that on your own, because then you attract those things that you desire when you don't need them anymore, because you can give this to yourself, right? So third party, they only matter because you have resistance and or attachment. So therefore work through the 4 steps that Amy and I teach and go from there. And they don't just disappear because you ignore them, because you have probably a belief in place that keeps attracting a third party to your SP. So how the heck is it just gonna go away, the third party? How's it gonna go away if I don't pay attention? You're just in denial at that point. So don't deny it, accept it, and go from there. I hope this helped. Have a wonderful day.